Hi everyone, thank you for joining. My name is Shinobi, I'm a virtual photographer and I'm here to show you everything wrong with Jedi Survivor photo mode. In this series I take one photo mode and just point out everything that could be changed or improved in the different features, even if the photo mode is pretty good, which is the case today. It's not the worst photo mode I've used, so let's dive into it and see what can be done. So in this game, you open the photo mode by going first to the pause menu and then press the triangle button. It's not the best. If you can have a shortcut going straight from the game to the photo mode, it's always better. Some games can just not have one button to map on the shortcut because everything is used in the gameplay, but sometimes some games just make a combination of two buttons, like the two joysticks, or sometimes the center touchpad or something like this. So you might consider it. Again, not terrible here, just two pressures. It's nice, but still it creates kind of a small delay, and when you enter the pause menu, you don't see your action anymore. So sometimes if you are in the middle of an action shot or something like this small delay is a bit annoying actually. So here we are in the photo mode. First problem I see, I mean, first time you open the photo mode or first couple of times, maybe you don't really notice this and it's not that much big a deal again, but we are now in the first tab, as you can see here, somewhere around here. And this first tab has absolutely no reason to be. It makes no sense to have this one. So wait, what do we have here? We have the button command on the down part of the screen, but we have this on every tab, so really nothing interesting here. So maybe you might think, okay, you can see the shot properly because there is not too much UI, but if you are in a tab with a big UI, you can just hide it with one pressure of triangle. So it's really easy, which is good, by the way. Good point for the photo mode. So yeah, this tab is pretty much useless. And the problem is, every time we will have to travel through the tabs to just go from a setting to another one, we will have to go through this one again. And again, it's just a time loss. So, okay, let's forget about this one and go straight to the first actual useful tab. That's the tab that will take us the most time to explain, but that's also the most important one, and it gathered everything about the camera position and a bit of editing already with exposure and stuff. So definitely the best tab of the photo mode, very useful, very important. Let's start with the zoom. This one has a little problem that is quite interesting. So let me explain. It's a bit technical, so follow me. Now I'm at the smaller value, right? It's 1.0x, and you can see that the slider is at the minimum position on the left. All right, so it means that I cannot go wider than this. I cannot open my field of view wider than this. This is the first problem, because you want sometimes in a shot, for creativity reasons or whatever, you want to go crazy on an open wide view. That can be for interior shots, for instance, or to create a dynamism movement or ID, or in an action shot you want to make it very stretch and very again dynamic. So not being able to open your field of view in a photo mode it's a problem. You should be able to. Another little thing, in this game I was able to open my field of view a bit wider than the game settings. So I did, because I like to have an open and wide FOV, because I'm playing on my PC, so I'm very close to my screen, so you know. Now in this photo mode, when I open it, it keeps this wider FOV setting. So now it doesn't really show here, but on a landscape shot, you would see the difference. It's pretty big. So if I want to open wider, as I said, it's not possible right now. I mean, it looks like it's not possible on the slider because it's at the minimum. But let's say I didn't notice this, and my first reflex when I open my photo mode is just to try to go wider. So I would press my left button on the D-pad, right, to just go down the value. Let's do this together. So I press and it should do nothing, right, because I'm already at the wider, and that's the opposite. It became narrower. How weird. So this is because, I guess, it's now at the default setting of the game and not my personal setting, right? But it's still, the value is still 1.0x, it didn't change. Alright, no big deal. What the heck? It's just a little bug. Get over it. Yeah, but the problem is that now I cannot go back to my personal setting and my wider angle. So if I lost the composition with something happening in the shot, I lost the shot. I cannot get it anymore. So this is really the first annoying thing in this photo mode. So yeah, be careful. So first, give the player the opportunity to open the field of view, like a lot. It's okay. The game is paused. It will not create weird bugs or whatever. Let's go for it. Give more. The zoom in thing is pretty good, and we'll talk about the camera range in a second because, as you can see, it's good. The zoom in feature is nice. Let's zoom in. Oh, you see that everything is blurry again. Hold your horses. I'm gonna speak about this in a minute. So when you zoom in, what is useful to is like portraits. If you want to do portraits, sometimes you want something with a background really neutral, or not busy and stuff. So a good way to do this is to go really far from your character and then zoom in as much as you can, so the background will be compressed behind him, and then you will have less details and less stuff happening. So here it's okay because you can go really far from your character, which is cool, but it could be more. Just give more to the player. You never know why they will need to use it and how cool the shot will be when it's done. But okay, not terrible here. No complaint. Just remember that it's important. Now the tilt. Tilt value is really important in a game because we want to create vertical shots. And sometimes games, for some reason, give a 45 degree. Yes, I'm talking about you, Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm coming for you in the next episode. Maybe not the next. 45 degree, like something like this, makes no sense. No one wants to take a shot at 45 degree of tilt. No one. Or if you want, it's because you're drunk. Just kidding. You want at least 90 degree, which is cool. Here we have the 90 degree in one way, 90 degree in the other way, so you can choose what tilt you will break your neck with. So that's nice. But you know what, guys? It's not enough. It's not sufficient. Give us full rotation. You don't care. It doesn't break anything in the game once it's in photo mode. So we might want this extra 1 or 2 degrees to just align something perfectly. You never know. Sometimes the terrain of the game is a bit not flat or whatever. It happens. We need it. So just give the full rotation. So some devs told me, oh yeah, but I thought that once you go beyond the 90 degrees, the camera movements are all messed up. It will be all reversed and it's a pain in the ass and stuff like this. Yeah, sure, but that's not your problem. Virtual photographers and even a normal gamer that just opened a photo mode for the first time will understand how to reverse the control for just a second, just the time to make the composition he wants. So go for it. Give the full rotation, and it's even, I mean, it's even easier, I guess. Last thing about this tilt, which is a bit weird, is the values that are accessible here. Look at this, I'm at 0 degree tilt, all right? And the next time I push my left button, I'm at 4. Where are my 1, 2, and 3 degrees? Next time I push, I'm at 7. But I wanted 5. Give me my 5 degree tilt. Don't block me in my creativity and stuff. It's really, it makes no sense to have this these values 22, 25, 29. No, give me everything 1, 2, 3 until, you know, 360, everything. All right, so let's jump into focal and f-stop distance. Those two settings will be the one defining your depth of field. So it's basically what makes your image blurred or sharp, and the actual size of the sharp area between the two blurs area, that's what we call depth of field. So here we have the focal distance, which is the point of sharpness. All right, it will be decided in the depth of the game. Okay, so you can go. This grid system, by the way, I love it personally. I advised to do the same on Deathloop photo mode. I remember, for some reason it was not made at the end, but yeah, it's a pretty good way to visualize the point of focus. Again, the values here, you know, it's like in millimeters. They play this as if they want to make a real camera, but it makes really no sense. We are in the virtual world. We don't need those 275 and next 300s. Just put a slider and people will just choose precisely where they want to go. This is a photo mode. It's not a photo camera, a real one. So you don't need to be pretending like you play the big photographer, in my opinion. Some people like maybe to have the emulation of a real camera, but yeah, it makes really no sense to me. And the f-stop value is the same. It's a bit confusing for people who don't understand photography. So yeah, not really interesting to me to call it this and to put those values that are actually pretty close to what a camera would give you. But yeah, again. So what you have to do first is to open your f-stop point to be as sharp as possible, let's say it simply, and then even go to your focal distance and put it way back, so you're sure that all your shot is sharp as much as it can be. Because, and look at how long it is to do this. Because when you will take your shot, probably it will not use the default setting of the game, right? So when you open the photo mode, you should have all this ready to 0, to have everything sharp, no blur whatsoever, focal distance at max. You know, I don't want to spend this time every time I open my photo mode. Look, I'm gonna show you how long it is to just set your photo mode to start working on your shot. Okay, so you're in the game, you make your shot, you're like, oh yeah, let's make a jump shot. You open your photo mode, and then first you have to go 1 on the right, then go 3 times on down, and then you push until 32, and then you push this at maximum, and I'm already bored. And you don't really have to do this last one, but seriously, if you want to be sure your shot is as sharp as possible, and then you can work on your shot and start moving around and looking for your angle and be like, oh yeah, this is cool, I'm gonna make this, and then, you know, that's too long. We don't need this. So anyways, I guess that's it for the complaint about the focal distance and f-stop. The blur type of blur in this game also is a bit weird. It's a bit like a radial blur. It's like moving. Doesn't really make sense to have this. All right, exposure. Let's move on. Exposure, vignette, and film grain are three settings that are really interesting to have, really important to have. Not enough in this type of tab with the visual editing. You need contrast and saturation as well. Contrast might be a bit of a problem sometimes with the HDR settings of the new consoles or on PC, but it's not really a problem. You can always have it grayed out or not usable for people who play with HDR settings. We did this on Deathloop, so yeah, I'd say put a contrast setting and accessible for people who don't play with HDR, because that's really a good way to improve your shot real quick. Saturation as well, we'll see later that this game lacks this. You will definitely need to do it in post-edit to make your shot better. So exposure is nice, but I would say it's a bit weak in this game. Look, I'm at the maximum value now and it's still pretty... Yeah, it's not completely white, right? So now I'm in an outside place, really bright and stuff, but the reason I would open my exposure that much is that I'm in a dark place or something with low lights, and it might be not enough in this type of place. And same way, if you go completely maximum down, it's still not really dark. You could go full black and full white on the both sides of the setting. But okay. Vignette is interesting. Again, look at this. We are at 0% vignette, right? So it means that there is absolutely no vignette. If you don't know what vignette is, it's the borders of your shot that are a bit dark. So 0%, it surely looks like it's at 0. You cannot really see a vignette, but it's not actually. If you go below this 0, which you can't on the setting, but still you can with your D-pad, it will do this. Oh, it's brighter. So don't forget, as a player, don't forget to do this if you really don't want vignette. And as a dev, don't forget to put it to a real 0. Alright, let's try this vignette. Again, we have weird values, 10% per 10%. Anyways, and it's at maximum right now. And as you can see, it's even on the white background, so it should be much more strong. It's yeah, it's a bit weak. I mean, maybe most of people will use it like this and not stronger, but there are a lot of scenarios where we want it stronger. All right. So vignette, okay, done. Film grain is the same. Personally, I hate film grain. Usually I don't use it, so I even put it off in my settings of the game. That's why I think at the 20%, that is the default setting when you open the photo mode, on my game it doesn't show any grain, though if you go beyond you will have your grain. So it's cool to have grain if you want to put some. So this is nice, but again, you should have it to 0, a real 0, when you open the photo mode, whatever the game settings are, because when you work on a shot, you will have to add your own salt and pepper and stuff. So put it to 0, open the photo mode to 0, and then people will add what they want. Next up, camera position. Really interesting feature to talk about. So this feature is meant to allow you to go back to a camera position that you might have lost for any reason and you liked before. So it's really cool because it happens a lot when you work on a shot, you want to try angles, you find one, you're like, oh yeah, this one is nice, and then you move to find something else, it doesn't work, so you want to come back, but you can't because you lost your little magic. So having this type of feature is really nice. Now, the way it's executed here is really not good in my opinion, and I'm gonna show you why. So first of all, let's say you are in a good position that you like. Right, I'm at the maximum distance and I want to keep this. So I'm gonna press on save camera position, right? Done. Now, let's say I need to move something, like my character is not lit properly, or I just want to check something. And in this specific game, one thing that you really have to do a lot is go on the spotlight tab, which we will discuss in a moment, but you can put your spotlight where your camera is. So you need to move your camera to put the spotlight. All right, we'll talk about this later. Just after. And now you need to go back to your camera position. So you're like, oh, where was it? And then you have to go back through the useless tab, and you can load your camera position and you're straight back where you were. So that's really cool. All right. Now, in this game, it's really the only use that you can get is with this spotlight feature, because let's say now what you want to change is actually the position of your character. You're like, oh, he's jumping, it looks a bit silly, so I want him in a cool position. So you close your stuff, you put your lightsaber out, you're like, yeah. You go back to your photo mode, it's all blurred again, so you're like, come on, let's go back to 32 and let's put this on, not too much because I don't have time. All right, I forget about this. My vignette at the real 0, my granite. You put everything back and then you're like, hey, I cannot load my camera position anymore. Where was it? And you're effed. So that's the problem. This feature is good only if you can come back to it after you close your photo mode once or something like this, because that's most of the time the reason why you will need to change your camera position or change something in your shot and go back to your camera position is after you change something in the shot. So yeah, and don't make just one saving. I mean, you can have a lot of cache camera positions in memory. So yeah, if you want to put this this feature, which is really a good idea, just think about how people will really use it and when, and then you'll see that you really need to have it accessible after you close the photo mode. So one thing we did on Mortal Shell actually is to have this exact feature, but you can access all your camera positions that you used in one area, even if you close your photo mode. Once you change area in this game, Mortal Shell, it will reset the camera cache, but still, yeah, I think it's a better way to use it. Now, let's go to the next tab. It will be much faster now because the next tabs are really simple. So this one is the filters. Filters are nice to have. To have some is always a good idea. These ones are not the greatest one I've seen, but it's probably just a matter of taste. So you have, for me, it's just this one that is much more. You know, actually, I know why this one works for me. It's that because it replaced the lacks of saturation setting. This one is just more saturated, and then I have this one that I like because it's more contrasted. So that's the two filters I'd use to you know, go over the fact that we don't have the settings in the first tab. The other ones are okay, whatever, the filters. Which is cool here, and you definitely want to add, if you add some filters, is this filter strength setting. So you can lower it and just adjust a bit. That's really cool. Again, no reason to have 5% per 5%, not even, it's 4 per 4, yeah, whatever. But yeah, you want this if you have filters. Next is icons. Icons is basically in most games, it's what they call stickers or stuff like this. Know that in the virtual photography community, so I'm speaking about people who really want to spend a lot of time in these tools, right? Icons or stickers is the least required feature. So don't bother putting one if you really are on a budget or whatever. But okay, I guess a lot of people still like to have a cool sticker or cool icon or logo on the screenshot. So if you put some, just don't do this way. What's wrong here? Well, the placement. If you want to put your logo, first of all, you cannot even see it right now because the default position is on the upper right corner and it's behind the UI, so it's already not ideal. And you can see down there placement that you have preset placement, which are the angles in this game. And that's it. Then you have the opacity that is really useless for stickers or icons, in my opinion. Really not useful, but whatever, it's there, so it cannot hurt. But still, if you want to put this, you have to let us place it where we want, because maybe we want it on the face of the character, or between the legs, or at the top of the lightsaber, or whatever. So just give us the possibility with the joysticks to move it around, and to tilt it, to turn it. The orientation is crucial in this type of feature because, again, we take a lot of vertical shots. That's not the one. So now, look at this. How silly it is to have my Jedi Survivor icon that is not vertical, because my shot will be. So yeah, let us just turn it. And also, let me just go back to my normal setting, and also to have it bigger or smaller, change the size of it. All right, this limitation of placement is really not welcome, not by me. Next one is borders. Borders, it's pretty much the same. A lot of games or photo modes put it there. I guess why not? It's okay. Most of virtual photographers won't use it because it will mess a bit with our composition or our style or whatever. But still, it's cool to have for anyone else who wants to use it. In this case, they are interesting. I mean, yeah, not bad. I mean, really cannot really see them now, but yeah. One thing though is that if you don't have it on a separate feature or separate tab, you should absolutely have in the borders a grid, a composition grid, like rule of thirds grid, like photography. People, you know what? I'm amazed by the fact that some people doing this photo modes thought they should use the f-stop value as a real camera, or the millimeter way of thinking the focal distance, like an objective on your real camera, and they didn't think about a grid, a composition grid that is always in a camera, like in some way. So put some grid, and if you put a grid, I'm gonna tell you now what you exactly need to put in this grid. If you go just for... Sorry, I'm getting a bit triggered. If you go for a grid, just one, let's say, just put the rule of thirds grid and put a marker on the center, something that mark the center of the pic. We need this a lot to center the shots, and we don't have it here. So what I do in this game is that I use this border, actually, it's called border, but because there is a round in kind of center position. It's not the center on both axes, but it's the center on horizontal axis. so I can use it. And the next one also, we have a good center, but it's not a center on the vertical axis. So it means that I cannot really use it to have my center on a vertical shot. So yeah, just put a grid with a point in the middle and we know where the center is. It's very useful. Okay, the Spotlight tab. Spotlight tab is really interesting. Again, good feature, must-have feature nowadays. In this one, again, the implementation is not the best. So first, people would complain probably because you have to move your camera, as I said earlier, to light your character, which actually for me is not that much of a big a deal because we have this possibility of loading camera, so it's fine. It's okay. I can go by this effort. Then you can choose your color between some colors. You cannot create your own color. Why not? You should be able to have something to select your specific color. And you can play on the intensity, which is the strength of the light. Again, 5% per 5%. Okay, well, why? So it's cool. My main problem with this feature is that you cannot play with the light itself. You cannot decide on the width, how wide is the cone of light. You cannot play on the distance of light. A lot of different settings that you should be able to set to your own taste. But okay, I guess it's still nice to have some spotlight. You have 3 spotlights in this game, so you can go in 3 different positions and light with 3 colors, for instance. So it's nice. Again, why 3? Just give us 10 or 100. I mean, technically it should be possible. So yeah, don't restrain it to 3. Last tab is the characters hide and show character, which is really cool to have. Good idea. Again, improvable. So here you can hide Carl or BD1, the little robot, separately. So it's cool. This is nice because even though BD1 is often in a weird position when he's not doing anything, it's still nice to be able to take it off Cal for some composition or some silhouette stuff, you know. Sometimes here it doesn't really look good to have him, so you just take it off and it's nice. Really good job here. Now, friends and enemies, the 2 next ones are 2 separated groups. So either you hide all your friends on the screen or all your enemies. You cannot go one by one, and that's a bit of it's a bit too bad. I'd say if you can have a way to hide one by one, then everyone, you should have all those options in your, you know, show hide only is not enough in my opinion, because sometimes you take a shot with a cool action shot like you're killing a guy. Don't do this in real life, and you have the really cool angle, cool approach and stuff, and in the background you have 2 guys photobombing your shot. So you want to be able to take them off, but not your victim off. So what I do in this case is usually is that I take 2 screenshots, one with all the enemies, one with no enemies, and then I go in Photoshop and I erase the ones I want. You know, it's too much work. It would be much easier to have just enemy 1, 2, 3. And that's it. We're back to the useless tab. So guys, let's have a quick shot to show that still we can get some really cool stuff. So again, camera distance, pretty cool here. And I want to point out that I say this in a positive way, but it's actually the minimum here. It's the minimum we need. The reason why it seems so cool in this game is because the other games are so terrible. Usually in most games, like let's say God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West or whatever, you have this. It's the maximum you have. And you know, in games with super wide spaces and epic battles and stuff, it's definitely not enough, and there is no reason to put so few camera distance. So some people will tell you, oh yeah, but look at the textures. If you go back, like now, look at the grid I'm on. The grid part, if you move back, it will be weird. You lose some light on it. So, okay, I get it. Whatever. We want the freedom, and then we will be able to make the best shot out of it. So yeah, give us more. Like now I'm at the maximum distance, and that's the minimum I want. I want to be able to go even further, just to be free in my movements. You know, when you open your photo mode, you're in different game, and when you're in different game, you want to check out details and stuff, and you don't want to have to put your boy every 2 meters, go back out of photo mode, in photo mode, out photo mode, in photo mode, move 2 meters, reopen photo mode, check around. You don't want that. No one wants that. So a really long camera range will help us to find a cool stuff, and then maybe we want to close it and bring the character here and take your shot here. But yeah, please, 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 pretty please. Okay, let's take a shot here, just quick to finish this long video. I'm gonna go tilt. Let's zoom in a bit. I like the fact that my guy is has the head in the nebula or whatever it is, and that's pretty much everything we can do here. So see, I'm not sure if I'm centered now. I shouldn't be, because I think this line is not centered completely, but I have no idea because it's really hard to tell. Okay, this should be more centered, maybe. All right. Okay, I guess we have one shot. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Tell me in the comment if you agree on most of my points. If you do, drop a like. If you dislike this video, dislike it. Let me know. Drop a comment and let me know also what game you want me to cover next time. And I'll be back for another everything wrong with this photo mode, but always to improve future photo modes. In the meantime, keep snapping. Bye.